which is the second to last section, and then we can have quite a lot of fun going through functions. We're almost there. This section pertains to some more advanced aspects of formatting and also some things about moving around in the Excel workbook, okay? So let's say you have some values and you want to sum them, right? I could click sum and equal and format. That's a lot of work. I prefer to do it the easy way, which is just hold down Alt and press equal. Alt equal will automatically bring up a summation formula for everything above it. I'll do that one more time. You go to the value at the bottom of the row, Alt equals, then all you have to do is press enter. It's kind of nice, right?
Would it matter if you had a title above it?
I think it's fine. I think I do that all the time. Let me just double check. Yeah, Excel knows to automatically stop when it hits a name value.
Okay, cool.
Yep, good question. Earlier, you may remember that I showed you how to create a chart, right? So we created a chart, but we created one in a new cell, which was Alt F11. If we want to create a chart embedded in the sheet, instead of doing Alt F11, we do Alt F1. So, oops. So let's sum that. So Alt F1, sorry, slippery fingers today. Alt F1 creates a chart in the sheet. Alt F11 creates a, oops, I'm sorry. This is what happens when I work on a laptop instead of a desktop. This is why laptops make me crazy. F11 makes one in a different worksheet. All right. Control apostrophe, control apostrophe puts the value of the above cell into the current one. So if I press control apostrophe, let's say I had the value 100 here and I wanted to insert it again, I would press control apostrophe. It also works for formulas. So you might say, hey, Amir, what's the value of that? Well, what if you were going sideways and you were summing stuff up, right? And you had, you know, apple, banana, or, let's say bookings, revenue, margin. And you were adding that up, right? The neat thing about Alt equals is it goes sideways too. So you'll see here again, I press Alt equals. Now, I could do Alt equals again, but an alternative is I could replicate what's above by just pressing Control apostrophe. Control Shift coupled with several different values is a rapid way to change formatting. So coupled with F4 for repeating your last action, this is a very powerful synthesis of functions. So let's take this 100 that I have here, right? So if I hold down Control Shift 1, that will make it a number with 2 decimal places. Control Shift 2 will change it into the time. Control Shift 3 will change the serial number into a date. Control Shift 4 will change it into currency. Control Shift 5 will change it into a percentage. And then also, if you forget those, you can actually just use Control Shift plus whatever the symbol is for what you want. So if you go Control Shift $, that's also Control Shift 4. But my point is you can remember it as its dollar value. So that's Control Shift 4. Control Shift 5 is percentage. Control Shift pound is the date, and Control Shift exclamation point is the number 1. Now, what did I mean when I said F4? So if I go Control Shift 4, I just turn this into currency, right? So if I go here and I press F4, it will duplicate the last thing I did. So if I want to just move the $ formatting over, The combination of Control-Shift-4 plus F4 is a powerful combo. Control plus arrow keys moves to the next text section that you have. So let's say I'm here and I want to move to the next place where there's text. If I press Control and down, you'll see that the cursor moves down to the cell that has the A in it. Similarly, if I'm here and I press Control left, I'll go over to print. So that's a helpful way to move around your worksheet. In terms of selecting entire rows and columns, again, you could do it with your mouse, but an easier way to do it is to do it with the keyboard. So if you press Control space, you will automatically select the entire column. If you press Shift space, you'll automatically select the entire row. Control Home, which we discussed, takes you all the way to the top. Control End takes you to the last boundary of your usable worksheet. So you'll see that it took me down to L51. Control tilde is a powerful key for editing your worksheet. So if I press Control tilde, let me go to the sample model here because that'll show it better. You'll see that everything here is as we would expect, right? Values, formulas, whatever. If I press Control tilde, you'll see that everything in the cell that's a formula shifted to a formula. This is really powerful because if you want to edit someone's workbook, rather than having to click around, you can just press Control tilde and then blow out the cells, and you can see all the formulas. And you just press Control tilde to switch it back. Any questions? Let me pause there for a second because I know we went through a bunch of them. Okay, so next, Control-Shift-Plus inserts rows and columns. So if I'm selected on a column, Control-Shift-Plus inserts columns. If I'm selected on a row, it inserts rows. Alt-ES we discussed, very important. It's the paste special box. That's very important. Oops, sorry. Come on, trackpad. Hold on one second. I don't know when my keyboard's being funny. 1 second, please. Why is S not working? That is most bizarre. All right, let me reopen the sheet. All right, 1 moment, gang. That's very bizarre. Well, anyway, you can trust me on that one. Sorry, I don't know why my computer's being a little bit funny. Shift and the Control arrow key. Again, you can hold it down to select and go in a certain direction if you want. Control Enter enters the same value in cells when highlighted. So if I take 5 and I drag it across, sorry, I don't know, my workbook got funny all of a sudden. There we go. Okay, it's better now. So Control Enter will sorry, I don't know why this is being a little bit funny. Well, hold on. Let's see if Control D works. One moment, my friends. One moment. All right, let me make a note to myself. Sorry, my keyboard's just being a little bit funny. I'll come back to those functions. Let's keep going. Control 9 and Control O are for are for hiding and unhiding. So let me go ahead and unhide. Whoops. All right, hold on a second. I'm just going to move this over. No, what happened when I put in that one function? Everything went haywire. No problem. All right, I've got it back now. Control 9, hide and unhide, right? And similar with Control 0. Alt H9 and Alt H0 increase and decrease decimal points. So if I go Alt H9 and Alt H0, I can move over the number of decimal points that I have. So you'll see that Alt H0 moves it out, Alt H0 moves it out, Alt H9 moves it in, Alt H9 moves it in. So if you want to change the decimal points, you can do that rather than having to do it with the menu. And then the final two ones are Alt HN is an alternative for changing your text format. So look here at the upper menu here that I put. So if I press Alt HN, you'll see that the menu came up here for numbers and for general and for other things like that. So another alternative is if you have something that you want, like there's only a few options, right? So there's number, currency, and percentage. If you were so inclined, you could press Alt HN and you could type in percentage. And even when you type the first few letters, Excel will prompt you and you can press enter and you can change it to percentage. And those are all the hotkeys, other than the two that didn't want to comply with me. Any questions on hotkeys and movement in an Excel worksheet?